Who's a good girl? Oh, sorry about that. Hey, how's it going everyone? It's Ben Foggins Media Corner back again with a brand new video for today. Welcome back to the movie review, aka After I Saw review video for today. For this new aka After I Saw review video for today, this is going to be my review on a film that came out this year for 2022, which this movie came out in February this year, and this is one that I really want to review on my channel for quite a while since a few of my friends already talked about this. And as you guys didn't tell from the skit I just made, of course I'm here to review the 2022 comedy drama road film, and that movie is Dog. Now, Dog, this was directed by Reid, Carolin, and Channing Tatum in their directorial debuts, and this film stars Channing Tatum, which he plays an ex-military soldier named Jackson, who is suffering from PTSD, and he's being basically assigned on a task where he has to go on his cross-country road trip with this dog named Lulu, who has also been facing a few trauma as well. Like, she fought in the war, she's been really traumatized with what she faced and what she went through from all of that, and her owner has just passed away. And so we see these two characters go on this cross-country road trip to basically attend Lulu's late owner's funeral. And from on there, we see them bonding a strong friendship together and all that. So that's pretty much the story of Dog. Now, I knew nothing about this movie going into it. Like, I never saw the trailers when they first dropped by. I just saw a few posters for this. And once I saw the posters for this movie, to me, I just didn't even know how this one was going to play out for myself, because once I first saw the posters for this film, to me it just looked like one of those generic dog comedy films I would have seen before in the past that I've heard were pretty terrible. But I have seen a few good dog comedy films before in the past, namely Marley and Me, for example. But again, I just didn't even know how this one was going to play out for myself. And once I saw that Channing Tatum was the star of the film, I was pretty curious to see what he was going to do for this movie. And speaking of Channing Tatum as an actor, I think he's a really fun, charming actor. Like, I've seen him in a good few hits before in the last few years, namely the Jump Street films and the first Magic Mike movie. And since this movie is about dogs, you guys know I'm a huge dog lover myself. Like, I really love dogs. I've had 3 dogs before in the past, but unfortunately all 3 of them sadly passed away. Even the last dog which I did get, which I've had for the last 10 years, she unfortunately passed away at the beginning of this year, which was really, really sad for myself and my family. But once after she passed, I've heard we were getting a new dog for the family, which really made me happy, because if I was told that we were not going to have any more dogs in this family, I would have been really more upset and pretty alone, really, because, you know, I really love dogs. And so we ended up getting our new dog for the family in the beginning of spring of this year. And once we got her, she started to settle in, even though she is kind of crazy, my new dog. But I just really love her a bit. And that was the dog that I did use for the skit of this video, and her name's Dolly. And I really love her a bit, as well as everyone else in my family and all that. And so before I saw this movie, before I was going to go and see this movie, the day I was going to go and see it, I did watch the trailer for this film, but just before I went out to see this film. And once after I saw the trailer for this film, I was pretty interested in how this one was. I was pretty interested in seeing this one, but again, I just didn't even know how this one was going to land for myself. If this was this going to be a good watch, or was this going to be a bad watch? So I went to see this the day after I saw the new Uncharted film, and from what I remember from my screening was nearly sold out. Like, it was in a small screening, and there was a lot of people in my screening. And I was kind of questioning myself, since there was a lot of people around me, was it those who were dog lovers, or was it those who were fans of Channing Tatum? I don't know. But anyway, after watching this whole movie, I surprisingly had a really great time with Dog. And I can definitely say this is definitely one I can recommend for those who are huge dog lovers out there. But I do have a few flaws with the film, but we'll get into them later on during this review. But the things I can definitely say that are worthy checking out this film are the acting. Channing Tatum is really fun and really charismatic as the main lead in the film. And he also surprisingly brings an emotional side to the film as well, in which this film doesn't really flat out go to its comedic side whatsoever, because this film also tends to bring a bit of emotional side to the story, since this is a comedy drama. And when it gets to its emotional side of the story with Channing Tatum's character, you really feel for this character, because he's gone through a lot. Like, he's got PTSD, and he's got brain trauma, and he's no longer part of a family that he used to be in, and he just wants to get the opportunity to be part of that family once again. And you really feel for this character and all that. And again, his acting is really good, and he's also really funny too. And for Lulu the dog, she's really, really cute in this movie, and she also carries out this movie well in the kind of emotional side of the story as well. Because for this dog, she's gone through a lot as well. Like, she fought in the war, and she's really traumatized of what she faced through during the war. And when we see her like interact with a few things, you kind of tell like what's going on with her behavior and all that. Like, she tends to freak out and all that. And you do really care for this dog and all that. And once we get to see these two characters start bonding with each other, I found that really special and all of that, because they do bond really special. They do bond really well together in a very special way, because for both of these characters, they've had trauma. They've faced through different types of traumas. Like Channing Tatum's character's got brain trauma, and Lulu the dog has faced a lot of war trauma as well. And once we get to see these two characters bond in a very special way, I really adored it, because their friendship in the film, I found they're very, very strong and very, very cute throughout this whole movie. While we see them cross-country with each other during this whole road trip they're doing in the film. And as for everyone else in the film, like you got Kevin Nash and Bill Burr, I thought everyone else gave pretty good solid performances here. And when it gets to its humorous moments, this film, they were generally really funny. And speaking of humorous moments, the humor in this film isn't just flat out mainstream thrown right in your face or anything like that. It's mostly between the dynamic between the two main characters in the film, Lulu and Jackson in the film. For Lulu the character, it's mostly due to her behavior, and for Channing Tatum's character Jackson, it's mostly his exaggeration in the film, which those moments were generally funny. There's one in particular which I've seen in the trailers already, and this is not really a spoiler because it's been shown in the trailers, which we see Channing Tatum's character Jackson trying to book himself into the hotel when he's pretending to be a blind man, and he books himself into a hotel room where there's a nice bed, and then chaos starts to happen. That scene was really funny too. That scene was really, really funny. And the direction by from both Reid, Carolin, and Channing Tatum looks really beautiful. Like the mountainside area looks really nice, and there's some really good, nice wide shots in the film. And speaking of humorous moments, there's a few humorous moments in the film which to me did feel kind of odd, and some of them didn't kind of get me really. Which those moments, like I said, those moments like that just to me just felt kind of awkwardly odd. And just some of them just didn't really kind of get me really whatsoever though. But there still is a good amount of humorous moments to basically delight the audiences, to make themselves have a good time. And for its storytelling, it is pretty predictable really for a film like this, because it's got pretty much what you expect really from a movie like this, where it's heartwarming, it's heartfelt, it's charming, it's funny, and it never manages to harm itself whatsoever. And I also like how it tackles on a few things, like it tackles on like loss, mental health, and trauma and all that, which I thought this film did a great job from all of that. And another issue I do have with the film is that where it kind of goes there are some moments where it kind of goes a little bit political and all of that, which to me did kind of feel a bit unnecessary really, and way too complex and all that. Like when we see some scenes, like for a few scenes and all that, for like what the characters are doing. Like there's one scene where Channing Tatum's trying to hit on a lady in a bar and all that, and there's a few like political complex stuff in that, which to me kind of felt unnecessary, and to me it kind of would have been cut out of this film though. But in the end, guys, this was surprisingly a great movie here. It was a great surprising film, because I went in thinking this was just going to be I thought this was going to be a generic film, but this was surprisingly a great dog film, a great film involving a dog. And if you love movies involving dogs, or you're a fan of Channing Tatum as an actor, this is definitely one you don't want to miss out on here. And if you missed a chance to see this in cinemas, it is available to stream on any app of your choice. So that's pretty much all I have to say about Dog. I'm going to give Dog 4 out of 5. Yep, like I said, I went in with low expectations thinking this was going to be a generic watch, but after watching this whole thing, I surprised I had a great time with this, and I can definitely tell my experience with this film definitely boosted up on a different level, because, again, I went with low expectations thinking this was going to be generic, but after watching this whole thing, I had a great time with this, and I can definitely say this is definitely one I can recommend for those who are huge dog lovers out there. So, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching for my AK After Hours review on Dog, and let me know what you think of this film if you have seen this already, if you just recently checked out this film. Did you absolutely adore this, or did you not really appreciate this? As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and this has been Fogan's Media Corner signing off.